old school talk, R&B, and hip hop. WPMM online radio.
Yeah, you are now tuned into the Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G. All right. Welcome back to the show. You are listening to The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. I am your boy, Gerald Graham, also known as G. And once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. Hope all is doing well. It is Thursday. It is the eve of Friday. We are headed to the weekend. Hope that you had a great start of your week, and I hope that you end the week just as great and go into the weekend. I know it's a lot of Christmas parties and things going on this weekend, so you guys make sure that you be safe out there. Make sure you be safe. Drink responsibly. Carry a designated driver with you wherever you go, because last thing you want to do is either get killed during the holidays by running into somebody, or somebody running into you, or going to jail at the holidays. So you don't want to do that. So be responsible in your partying, your Christmas partying. But I want to thank you for joining me right here on The Truth with G on WPMM Radio. We are in studio tonight. So the topics that we talk about tonight, we will be taking phone calls tonight. If anybody wants to call in, I'll be putting that information out there here in a moment. But on WPMM Internet Radio, you can go to the website, listen to the show at WPMMradio.com. You can also go to the website and download the app. It's a free app download from the website at WPMMradio.com. You can also go to the Apple Play Store, the Google Store, and download the free app as well. We are on our YouTube channel. Check out our YouTube channel. We are there. You can also, we are on all streaming platforms, just about all streaming platforms. So you can also go into the WPMM web page. Not web page, but you go to WPMM Facebook page and listen to the show. You can also go to my Facebook page as well and listen to the show. Or you can text someone, WPMMradio.com, and all they have to do is click on it, hit play, and they can enjoy the show as well. If you're on Facebook, let's go ahead and share. If you would, please go ahead and share if you're on Facebook. I appreciate the shares, appreciate the likes, the hearts, or whatever you want to throw up. Appreciate all that. Appreciate you listening. Looks like we have Miss Rivers is on Facebook. How you doing? Is this evening, Miss Rivers? Good to see you on. And I think, and if I can get Mr. J Dizzle to come back in here, I have a toy drive going on, but I don't have the specifics. So if Mr. JD is out there listening, if he can come in and just give me the specifics on the toy drive, I can relay them to you, because I think it's taking place this weekend. Okay, on my Facebook page, people are saying we don't have any sound. I'm not sure what is going on as far as the sound goes. Give me just a second here. Like I said, Mr. JD is out there listening. If he could come in, and we'll try to get that figured out. So, Mr. JD, I'm being told I don't have sound on my page. I think it is. I believe it is my page. So, Try that now. See if I have sound. See if I have sound. If I have sound, somebody give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a heart. Give me something. Text me and let me know. I think we got the sound worked out. So, but we're on WPMM Facebook page, and we should have sound on my Facebook page. And if not, go to the website at WPMMradio.com and listen to the show, or download the app. Download the app. So, do we have sound on my Facebook yet? That's me right there. Okay, I think we're good. I believe we're good. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and take care of the particulars so we can go ahead and jump on into these topics tonight. That's me. Okay. All right. I think we're good. Okay, the views and opinions expressed by individual radio hosts and guests are of their own and does not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of WPMM Radio. WPMM Radio does not intend to malign with any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. Like I keep telling you every time, that is saying that cannot sue WPMM. You can only try to sue me. And once again, 17 cents in the jelly jar next to my bed. That's all you're going to get if you try to sue. But you can't sue me for telling the truth about things. You cannot sue me for telling the truth. So, all right. So hopefully we're good. Hopefully we're good. Miss Rivers is listening. I just made a slight adjustment, so let me know if that worked for you. But we should be good. Should be good. So today's topic, we're going to jump into a few things here tonight, and before I jump into them, I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. Well, I take that back. Y'all know me. Sometimes I ruffle feathers, and it's not my intentions. But sometimes people don't like what I have to say. But that's just how life is. You can't always hear what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear. I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear. So we're gonna talk about the settlement that was that took place here in Pensacola, Florida, with the young man Frozone, the rapper Frozone. There was a settlement in a lawsuit. We'll talk about that tonight. We're also going to discuss our Supreme Court. Seems like there's some, we already know that Supreme Court is stacked by the orange idiot, and it looks like we have some shenanigans from the token black man in the Supreme Court. We're going to talk about that as well. Also, I want to talk a little bit about the January 6th situation. It seems like there's some more evidence that has came out on the January 6th where it actually shows correspondence and text messaging going back and forth with different lawmakers in regards to the planning of the coup to overtake the government, if you will, in regards to the election. We'll discuss that briefly here. We're also going to mental health. We're going to discuss mental health tonight, and that may be one I may need a little help on because I'm not a clinician. I'm not a trained therapist or anything of that nature. I hadn't been to anybody's school to learn about that whole process and what take place in the minds of people. But I'm one of those people who have lived a long life, and I can offer my thoughts, if you will, and my experiences. So, um, you know, so we'll discuss that as well. I think also I want to try to get to white privilege as well because I keep seeing things that just pissing me the hell off. Um, especially with these police officers. It's like every single day I see something on my Facebook feed that just makes my blood boil on how these corrupt police officers, especially the ones who got their ass whooped in school, and then they come out and be a police officer, and now they want to bully people. That that makes my blood boil when I see that. So we'll talk about that as well. Um, Also, we'll talk about the white privilege in the justice system as well. So those are the things we're going to try to tackle tonight, just time permitting. You know me, I get on one topic and I may roll with that one topic all night, depending on your response. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. So let's start with obviously the news, the thing that's been top of the news and on everybody's Facebook page and all the entertainment channels and news channels uh, is it Twitch? The DJ Twitch from the Ellen Show. He a couple days ago he is reported that he committed suicide, and if you don't know who this guy is, and I really didn't, I seen him on the Ellen Show or whatever case may be, but every time you see him, he's always jovial, he's always happy, he's always um, cracking jokes and making people laugh and laughing with people and whatever. But however, it appears that this gentleman, 40 years old, had other issues, and and that just goes to show that you never know. You never know what people are going through. You never know what people's situation is. You just don't know, because I never seen this gentleman as someone who would uh, take his own life. I have questions about that, but I'm going to wait till then. All the investigations are done and over with. But because it's kind of hard to believe, it's kind of hard to believe that that gentleman took his own life. But like I say, you never know what goes on in people's lives. Here's what I want you guys to do. Here's what I need you guys to do, because it's irritating. It's very irritating, especially for that man's family, to put out false and inaccurate information. And there was I've seen a couple videos that has surfaced, and they putting these tags on these videos. One of the videos show him dancing, doing a dance video, and is marked 24 hours before he um, was dead. And then I seen another video of him talking, and it said that it was 25 minutes. He was in the hotel, and that he did that video 25 minutes before he died. And you can't repost everything that you see. I would challenge you guys, and I would ask you guys to vet your information before you put it out there. Just because you see it, somebody posted, doesn't mean it's accurate. And you have to keep in mind, these people have families. This man had 3 children, a wife, and other loved ones, and the last thing they need to see is inaccurate information. The one video that I saw that showed him talking about, he was talking about a dance competition or something, and it was posted on there 25 minutes before he was dead. And I was listening to that video, and if you listen to the video, it tells you it wasn't 25 minutes prior to his demise, if you will. That was back in uh, August or September. And if you listen to what he said in the video, he was talking about his child, and he was talking about he was about it said it was few weeks before his child turned like 6 months old, and the child's birthday was in September. So this video was put out in August or September, but it's floating around the internet saying it was 25 minutes prior to his demise. So just I beg you guys, before you put information out on anybody, not just him, but anybody. Before you put that information out, vet this information. Just because somebody posts something on the internet does not make it true. Does not make it true. So, but mental health, and I hopefully I got somebody out there that can help me out. Once again, if you're listening on Facebook, go ahead and share. Go ahead and share if you're listening on Facebook. We are taking calls tonight, 850-221-0396. It's the number to call, 850-221-0396. We'll get that up on the screen here in just a second as well. But with mental health, this young man was a classic example of hiding your pain. Well, let me back up. Let me back up. And y'all know I don't like putting out false information, but I'm going to put out my opinion, my thoughts in this regard. Again, this is my opinion. This is not factual information. Uh, Nobody has told me anything. This is just a thought that I came up with myself. So, just an opinion. Um, it's hard for me to see this young man take his own life under the circumstances. The way he talked about his kids, the way he talked about his marriage, the way he was living his life, the way he was enjoying life. It's just hard for me to see this man taking his own life. And if that's the case, then that's the case. But I hope that it's investigated thoroughly. Is investigated thoroughly, because if anything other happened and someone else is culpable or need to be held accountable, if you will, that needs to take place. Because we have a lot of cases. There's cases throughout history where it has been ruled a suicide when it should have been ruled a homicide. So again, this is my opinion. This is not anything factual. This is my opinion. But I just hope that they investigate this thoroughly, so that uh, however this young man died, whether it's self-inflicted or if it was an actual homicide, that the family have that closure. So just putting that out there. Again, this is just my opinion in this matter. So, but mental health, people. I'm gonna tell you guys, with mental health, you never know what somebody's going through, especially those who don't show any signs of problems, those who don't show any signs of any type of weakness, those who don't show their emotions, if you will, especially negative type emotions where you see them crying or you see them down or moping around, or those are the people that are generally having the most problems because they hide their pain. So just because you see somebody, just always upbeat or whatever, don't mean that that person don't need an encouraging word from time to time. Doesn't mean that that person don't need a pat on the back, or a hug, or just, a God bless you or something. And, if you're always, mean mugging folks and how you Christian folks do. I ain't gonna get on that tonight because I talked about Christian folks enough this week. But you know how y'all Christian folks can hug somebody, and then as soon as you hug them, you turn around and you talk about them. Don't do that. Don't do that, because again, that person may be going through some things, and they need some help. They'll never ask for it. They'll never show it to you, but you can help by just being kind. You can help by just, again, giving an encouraging word. But if that person is, if somebody's out there, you know, causing havoc and creating all kind of negative situations, just doing evil stuff or whatever the case may be, that's a whole different story. But it's okay to not be okay. A lot of people, a lot of strong minded people, a lot of strong willed people, um, don't think it's okay not to be okay. And that's what caused them to have the problems that they do internally, because they think that it's not okay to not be okay. If you follow my words closely. Now don't let me speak, too fast, just speed up your listening a little bit. But it's okay to let somebody know that you have problems. It's okay to let somebody know that you're down, that you're feeling defeated. It's okay to talk to someone about your mental uh, status, if you will. In the Black community, it is it is a it's almost like a curse for someone in the Black community to say that they are seeing a therapist, or getting counseling for this, that, and the other. Is it's almost like people are ashamed to say that they need help, or that they need that little bit of extra, whatever it is, to allow their mental status to kind of stabilize, if you will. But Black folks, it is okay. I promise you, it's okay to talk to people. It's not a problem, because that therapist, and I know I was one of those Black people that say, I'm not going to talk to no therapist about my problems, whatever case may be. They don't know nothing about my problem. No, they don't know anything about your problem. But it's an outlet. Sometimes you hold things in to the point to where you make yourself sick, because you don't have an outlet, you don't have a release. um and that counselor, or that person, whoever it may be that outlet. That person may be the one who prevents you from doing uh what DJ Twitch did. So it's okay. And like I said, in the Black community, it seemed to be something that's taboo, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to admit to it. Nobody wants to, you know, I ain't putting nobody in my business like that. But sometimes it's necessary, and it's okay. So on that note, my condolences to the family of DJ uh, Twitch. Again, young man had three children, three young children, um, his wife, and then his family, his extended family. My condolences goes out to you. But this goes as a lesson to those who think that everybody who smiles is okay, and that's not the case. So be kind to somebody. Give somebody a kind word. Uplift somebody. You never know. A handshake, a hug, a God bless you, or whatever the case may be. Just your words may be the difference in someone literally living or dying. So keep that in mind. So, Topics Thursday, if you're just joining us right here on WPMM Internet Radio on the Truth with G's Topic Thursday, we're going through different topics tonight, and kind of bouncing around here. Again, we are taking your phone calls. 850-221-0396 is the number to call. 850-221-0396. Let's move on. Let's move on to a local story here. And this story, I've been out there, and I'm trying to wrap my brain around this particular story. I'm trying to understand. So I'm gonna read the story as it was put out, and then we're gonna discuss it a little bit. 850-221-0396. Again, it's the number to call. But if you remember, there was a young man, young rapper here in Pensacola, went by the name of Frozone, which is his rapper name, the name he performed under. A couple years ago, tragically, he was gunned down. He was shot in the Oakwood Terrace. I think that's the name of it. Oakwood Terrace apartment complex. The young man was killed, and this week it was announced that a settlement. The family settled uh, with the management company of Oakwood Terrace for $5 million. And I'm gonna read what was reported uh, in regard to that story. It said the family of the late Pensacola 18-year-old Quantarian Rivers, also known by his rapper name Frozone, was awarded $5 million in a settlement with Marquise Asset Management Inc., which is the property owner of Oakwood Terrace Apartments. Rivers was shot and killed in June 2020 at the Oakwood Terrace Apartments. Jalen Wright, 23 years old, and Octavian Harris, 18-year-old, both convicted in the killing. Wright received 30 years and Harris sentenced to life in prison. The Haggard law firm confirmed to WAR News Tuesday that it has settled a negligence lawsuit against Oakwood Terrace on behalf of Rivers. Uh, Rivers' parents and 3-year-old daughter. The $5 million settlement finalized on October 14th. Um, in November 2021, WAR reported that Rivers' family was filing the lawsuit. The Rivers family believed that Contarian's murder could have been prevented if the managers/owners of the apartment complex took much-needed security measures. A release stated, as a release stated at the time, the lawsuit followed a $10 million lawsuit previously filed by the Weatherspoon Law Group after 5 people were shot at Oakwood Terrace Apartments on April 15th. So apparently there is still some outstanding legal situations going on with other situations there at Oakwood Terrace in regards to those 5 people that's been shot is still in litigation. Um, but apparently there was a law firm that was able to represent the family of uh, Frozone, and they were settled out of court. It did not go through the full trial. It settled out of court for $5 million. So, yeah, if that was the settlement, obviously what they were seeking was larger, a larger amount than that. Um, so I've been trying to understand. I've been trying to understand the lawsuit itself. I'm not a lawyer. I wasn't trained in law. I'm not a scholar or anything of that nature. But I have been trying to just understand the basis of the lawsuit itself. And maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just ignorant of law, if you will. Um, First of all, my condolences to that family. Even it's been a couple of years ago, but the death of someone in your family doesn't go away. It always lingers. It will always be something that you'll remember, especially when somebody dies tragically. So my sincere condolences to that family. I don't know anybody in that family that I know of. It's possible that I may know some people that I just don't know that they're related to this young man. Um, but definitely my condolences to that family because that's a tragic situation to have to go through. In regards to the lawsuit, again, when I say I don't understand the lawsuit, uh, then because the lawsuit was against the management company itself. I have had shows where I've talked about the issues in Oakwood Terrace, the issues in Pensacola Village, all these housing complexes, if you will, these low income housing complexes, all of them have their share of problems. But at the same time, if you don't live in one of those housing projects, there's still where there's a situation where violence, theft, burglaries, and things of that nature can occur. It's not just in the housing projects that this type of stuff is taking place. So At what point do you hold these people culpable, or how do you hold these people responsible? For instance, the management company of Oakwood Terrace. I would love to have been in the courtroom to see what the argument was, to where they were able to convince. Uh, well, in this case, it didn't go to a jury, but what information was given to where they were able to establish that the management company was responsible, or shared responsibility for the death of this young man, and also in the other case where it's been litigated, the death, the violence against those 5 people that were shot as well. How do you just how, how do you hold that management company responsible? Because here's the deal: if I've been around Pensacola all my life, so is Pensacola is nothing new to me. Um, I was around when it was Truman Arms. I was around when it had the title of Saigon, where they call it Saigon. I was around as a little kid. I had family members that lived in that complex years ago, 50 plus years ago. Um, but all my life, I've known that there has been issues in that complex. And again, not just that complex, but we just happen to be talking about Oakwood Terrace at the time. There's been a lot of issues in that complex, whether it be uh, random violence, domestic violence, the violence within people that live there, violence from people coming out, whatever the case may be. Some years ago, that complex, they built a wall around that complex. Literally, they built a wall, like it was like literally a prison wall around the complex, and it had the barbed wire on the top of the wall. But even with that wall, and also they had a sheriff deputy at the gate. They had a sheriff deputy at the gate. But even with that, even with the wall, the barbed wire, the sheriff officer at the gate, there were still incidents where fights, stabbing, shootings, what have you, took place within that complex. I was just talking to a couple people before I went on the air, and I was making the point that even with the police at the gate, the police are not able to stop people from doing violence when they want to do that violence. The only way that the police can stop it is to be there at the time that whoever this person may be wants to perpetrate the act of violence, and then they may have a chance to stop it. Other than that, police are just they're reactive. They react to situations. They react to a shooting. They react to a stabbing. They react to a burglary. They react to a purse snatching or whatever. They react. That means that the act has already taken place, and now they are coming to secure the scene, to investigate and try to find out what happened, who did it, whatever the case may be, who is to be held accountable for this act of violence. There's not enough cops in the world for cops to prevent the violence from happening. They can only react. So, and I'm playing devil's advocate at this point. I'm playing devil's advocate at this point because in the case, whether it's Frozone or the other 5 that were shot up, or all the people that were targets of violence in the past, what somebody tell me what could have been done to prevent any type of acts of violence from going on in that complex, and not just that complex, any complex, even if you live in Carriage Hills, apartment complex in Carriage Hills, and an act of violence take place, is Carriage Hills management team or whoever managed that particular piece of property, are they culpable? Are they to be held accountable for that violence? I'm asking these questions because I'm trying to understand. I'm not giving an opinion. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying again, I'm playing devil's advocate at this point. I'm just trying to understand that what what is it that law enforcement can do? And people always say, well, put more cops on the streets. Regardless of how many cops you put on the street, if an idiot out there with a gun that want to shoot somebody, he's going to shoot somebody. You'll just have more cops to respond, but then they can't stop it. The only way that we can stop violence is to make sure that we're teaching our kids from a young age the difference between right or wrong, and make sure that we are reiterating and that we're drilling it in the brain that being violent and shooting and stabbing and this, that, and the other is not the way to go. We need to teach our kids to be more diplomatic. That's the only thing that's going to prevent it. And there will never be a day where there's no crime, unfortunately, in the United States. But there are countries, that do not have any deaths from gun violence, or in the past 10 years, they can say that they may have had one or two situations where a gun was used in a violent act. There are literally countries that do not have any gun violence. So it's a precedent has been set to where it can be done, even when you have multi-million people in your population. Other countries have set the precedent to where you should not have gun violence. But unfortunately, the United States is a place to where uh, you can get a gun from anywhere. Hell, I can walk out this studio right now, and within 30 minutes of me walking out this studio, I can purchase a gun from somewhere, whether it's Walmart, uh, local pawn shop, off the street, whatever the case may be. I can walk out this studio right now within 30 minutes. I can have me a firearm. So again, put your comments in the comment section on the web page, not the web page, my Facebook page, either on WPMM Facebook page or on my Facebook page. Looks like we have a Mr. Pugh. Thank you for joining me, Mr. Pugh. Miss Dorothy Saber is on as well. Good to see you tonight. Uh, I'm trying to read Mr. Pugh's statement. I can't see y'all. Uh, Larry Pugh said the same reason if you went to Walmart and get hurt and were being reported to management that they have a duty to secure the property, they are liable. Um, I'm trying to I'm trying to agree with you, Mr. Pugh, but it's hard for me to agree with that, because how much can a neighborhood, and I'm not just going to say apartment complex, how much can a neighborhood do to prevent an act of violence? What can a neighborhood tell me something? Somebody tell me something that a neighborhood can do to prevent someone from committing an act of violence. What can a neighborhood do? That's 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 what I don't understand. If somebody can make me understand that a neighborhood could prevent an act of violence, then I would understand better. Because again, like I said, people control what they do. A neighborhood can't control what people do. Law enforcement can't control what people do. Prison systems can't control what people do. Once Lil Sally and Jim Bob leave mom and dad's house, mom and dad can't control what little Sally and what little Jim Bob do. If police was the end all, if you will, we wouldn't have any crime. You think? If police officers were the force that can stop crime, we wouldn't have any crime right now. So obviously, police officers can't stop the crime. So my question is, based on what Mr. Pugh says, like I said, I'm trying to agree with you, but I have to have some understanding in order to agree with that. If I went into Walmart and some now if I went into Walmart and there's a big puddle of water on the floor and I step on that puddle of water and I slip and I fall and I sue Walmart for falling in their aisle because the floor was wet, then Walmart does has a responsibility to make the aisles and the common areas where customers are. They have the responsibility to make sure that it is free of any type of obstructions and things of that nature. Um, if you go to Walmart and you see the little top shelf, they even have the signs to say, do not reach these items on the top shelf or whatever because it creates a hazard. Uh, but if you walk into that Walmart and there's a wet floor sign that's sitting right there in the front of in the back of that puddle, and they are alarming you or alerting you to a hazard, and you still walk into that hazard and you slip and fall, then Walmart is not responsible for that because they alerted you to the hazard. So I mean that's I hate to equate you know falling at a Walmart to being shot, but how can a apartment complex stop someone for committing an act of violence? Somebody has to have for people who are saying that the complex is culpable. And again, I'm not saying they're not. I'm just asking the questions. I'm not. I'm just asking the questions. Uh, Mr. Pugh said it has to be reported. And but for instance, let's say, give you a scenario. Let's just say if I was deranged and I had mental issues or whatever the case may be, and I got up from this seat and I went across the street to um, Carriage Hills Apartments. We're located in close proximity to Carriage Hills Apartments. And I went over there and I seen somebody walking their dog down the street. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna shoot this person. This person looked at me wrong. I'm gonna shoot him. Do that? Can that family sue Carriage Hills for me shooting somebody that I claim looked at me wrong? Again, I am trying to understand. I'm trying to understand. So I'm not saying that this person is not responsible, that person not responsible. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about the act itself, the act of violence that is committed, whether it's in Oakwood Terrace, whether it's in Scambia Arms, whether it's in Pensacola Village, whether it's in Warrenton Village, whatever case, Marcus Point. I don't care what the neighborhood is. How can you hold the neighborhood responsible for an act of violence of an idiot? So, I mean, we need to, that's something that we need to explore, if you will. I would love to. Mr. Pugh said that it has to be knowledgeable. Again, Mr. Pugh, like I say, I'm trying to. I'm trying to put together a scenario because these type of lawsuits, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't sue for whatever they feel like they are should be compensated for. I'm not saying people shouldn't sue, but when it comes to this situation of the violence, when people commit acts of violence, why are we holding? Why do we hold people who are not involved in that violence accountable? And everybody knows that Oakwood Terrace or Truman Arms has a history of violent acts. But we can say that about every neighborhood in Pensacola. We can say that about just about every neighborhood in Pensacola. So why are we holding the management team of Truman Arms or Oakwood Terrace? Why are we holding them responsible for acts that are being committed across this city and across other cities? Miss Savory said, if someone get hurt in the store and you let them know, they become liable. They don't tell anyone you're not liable. That's true. However, if they have alerted you to the hazard, again, by putting a wet floor sign down and letting you know this floor is wet, go around, and you still walk across that wet floor, those they make them wet floor signs for a reason. Those wet floor signs negate that particular property from being liable for someone getting hurt. Once they post them signs, then it's on on whoever is visiting, whoever is there, is on them to adhere to these warnings. And if you don't, the store is not liable because they done their part. But we're talking about violence in this situation. How can if somebody can answer this question, how can a neighborhood stop an act of violence? Somebody give me an answer to that question. And it says they are making. Mr. Pugh said they're making money off people in that community. Who's making the money? Who's making the money? So, and again, like I can say it's a topic of conversation that need to be had, and most importantly, the topic that need to be talked about is why do we have so many people who are out here committing these acts of violence? Why do especially these young folks? What is it that is going on in the minds of these young people to where they feel that it is okay to go out with a gun and it's okay to pull these guns on people and shoot instead of having a diplomatic conversation with someone to resolve issues or to talk about whatever may be going on. What is it with the mentality of these people to where they always have to pull a gun? That's what we need to be exploring. That's if we can come up with an answer to that question, if we can come up to a resolution to that question, we'll come up with something that we can implement to prevent people from having that mindset. That's what we should be focused on. That young man, Frozone, did not have to die. Conflict resolution could have been used, could have been implemented in that case. Whatever the situation was, I don't remember the particulars of the case, but whatever it was, there's a way to talk about a problem and resolve an issue without shooting someone. And I know people like me always equate things to back in the day, and it's hard not to go back and talk about what took place back in the day or what didn't take place back in the day. But we had situations back in the day where violence may have taken place, but it was in the form of a fist fight. And we fought, but when we finished fighting, we stayed mad for 30 minutes, hour, maybe to the next day. But that same person that we had that fight with, within a day or two, we back on the basketball court with them. We back hanging out on at the end of the block with them. We wasn't shooting and killing the folks that we had a beef with. And I'm not condoning any type of violence. I promise you I'm not. There's no I'm not condoning any violence, but we handle situations. We handle situations with diplomacy. We had a fist fight, we talked about it, we dapped it up, and we kept rolling. But it's a different day and age, so it's hard to keep equating things to back in the day because it's a different day and time. But the real conversation need to be had when it comes to why are our young people committing these acts? Why have they been conditioned to where it's okay to commit these type of acts? That's what we really, really need to be focused on. So way we don't have a situation like the young man froze on. We won't. Parents won't be in a situation where they feel like they have to sue a housing complex or whatever the case may be because their loved one will still be here if we can get into the minds of the people that's taking their lives. Miss Rivers put a comment. Let's see. She said, "You can't stop crime, but you can, as a management, change the population in the caliber of tenants that you accept in your complex." Um, I Miss Rivers. I love you like a play cousin, but I got to push back on. I got to push back on that a little bit. It when we come to housing complex, we know that low income housing is for usually it's for young women who have children and either no or low income. That's where those housing complexes come in play. However, not everybody that we have people in those housing complexes that do have a criminal mind, if you will. But you have a lot of people that are law abiding citizens that live in those complexes as well. And let me say this at the same time, in Carriage Hills, in Marcus Point, in Cadova Park, in East Hill, in uh, uh, Gulf Beach Highway, in Perdido, we in all these affluent neighborhoods, if you will. We have the same idiots, the same mentality. We have the same idiots. So it's not just about where you live. Your mentality travels regardless of where you go. You have the same mentality. So it's hard for apartment complex. For instance, if I went and rented us a house or rented an apartment or whatever, that housing complex can't look at me and say, "Oh, well, he looks like he might be violent." I can't rent to him because he might be violent. That's you can't put that on the housing complex to pick and choose who they rent to, as long as they satisfy the requirements of being able to pay the deposit and whatever, pass the background check, if they doing the credit check or whatever, as long as they pass those uh, tests, if you will, or those requirements, then if you don't rent to them, then you're discriminating. So it's something that we need to discuss, and I'm not going to solve it here in this broadcast tonight, but it's something that we need to continue to talk about. I would love to have a panel to talk about this situation, because I don't want you to think that my opinion is the only opinion, and that I'm right in what I say. But I'm just asking questions tonight. I haven't even really given my opinion. I'm just asking the questions to try to get some answers, to try to get some problem solving, some resolution. So, but it is time for me to get up out of here. I've overspent my time here. I went a little bit over, but time for me to get up out of here. It is Thursday. We're headed to the weekend. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. I want to thank you for joining me, as I always do. I have the greatest audience in the world. I want to thank you again for tuning in. I will be back on Monday night, 6:00. With the Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. Make sure you join me then. Again, over the weekend, make sure that you guys be safe. We got a lot of Christmas parties going on this weekend. I want everybody to be safe. I want everybody to make it to the holiday. You know, if you drink, make sure you have a designated driver, or either stay your ass where you at. Don't be out there on the roads, because I want to live. I don't want you running into me. If you run into me, you're going to get hit twice. But be safe out there, people. Be safe out there. I want to see you through the holidays. Want to see you into the new year. So be responsible in your partying. Have fun, but be responsible. So I will see you guys on Monday night, 6:00 p.m. Make sure that you join me. Until then, you guys be safe. Y'all be blessed. And I am out of here.
Old school talk, R&B, and hip hop. WPMM online radio.